I'm standing here on the cliffs of Moher, Ireland. The wind is relentless. Below me, the Atlantic Ocean crashes against rocks that have stood for millennia. And I'm thinking about fear. You know what's remarkable? Right now, as I stand here, I'm not afraid of the wind, or the height, or the cold. I'm afraid of something that doesn't exist. I'm imagining my foot slipping. I'm creating, in vivid detail, a scenario of falling. My heart is racing, my palms are sweating, not because of what is, but because of what I've imagined. This is the paradox I want to explore with you today. Fear is imagination, the same force that allows us to compose symphonies, write novels, and envision better futures is the force that keeps us awake at 3 in the morning, rehearsing conversations that will never happen, preparing for disasters that will never come. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how creative your fear is? How detailed? How convincing? When you're afraid of a presentation at work, you don't just think, "This might go badly." No. You create an entire film. You see yourself stumbling over words. You hear the silence in the room. You watch faces turning away. You feel the heat of embarrassment rising in your chest. You script the aftermath, the disappointed email from your boss, the whispers of colleagues, the slow erosion of your career. You are a genius, a creative virtuoso, a master storyteller. You're just telling yourself horror stories. I spent 3 years in Tibet, studying with monks who seemed to possess something I desperately wanted: peace. I thought they had conquered fear. I was wrong. They hadn't conquered it, they had understood it. One afternoon, a monk named Tenzin and I were walking through a mountain pass. I asked him, "Do you ever feel afraid?" He laughed. Not a polite chuckle, a full belly laugh that echoed off the mountains. "Every day," he said, "fear is imagination. Imagination is human. To be human is to imagine." "Then how do you find peace?" I asked. He stopped walking and looked at me with those impossibly clear eyes. "I choose what I imagine," he said. "Same brush, different painting." That moment changed everything for me. You see, we've been taught to think of fear and creativity as opposites. Fear is the enemy of creativity, we're told, but that's not true. They're the same cognitive process. Both require you to project into the future, create scenarios that don't yet exist, make the imaginary feel real, engage your emotions with fiction. The only difference, and this is crucial, is the direction of the projection. Fear projects disaster. Creativity projects possibility. Fear imagines what could go wrong. Creativity imagines what could go right. But it's the same engine, the same magnificent, uniquely human capacity to transcend the present moment and live in a time that hasn't happened yet. Think about this. When you worry about your child's future, you're using the exact same mental process as when you dream about their wedding day. Same mechanism, different content. When you catastrophize about your health, you're using the same imaginative faculty as when you visualize your recovery and strength. The brush is neutral, the canvas is blank. You are the artist. I'm walking now through the ruins of Pompeii. These streets were buried in ash in 79 AD. The people here had no warning, no time to imagine disaster. It simply came. And here's the bitter irony. Our ancestors who survived, who passed their genes down to us, they were the warriors. They were the ones who imagined the lion in every shadow, the poison in every unfamiliar plant, the danger in every stranger's eyes. Evolution rewarded catastrophic thinking. The optimist who didn't imagine danger, they didn't live long enough to become your ancestor. So we inherited this magnificent survival tool, the ability to simulate disaster before it happens, to run scenarios, to prepare for threats. But here's what evolution didn't account for: a world where the threats are no longer immediate and physical. Your ancestors used fear imagination to avoid being eaten. You use it to avoid being embarrassed at a dinner party. Your ancestors imagined predators in the darkness. You imagine your bank account running dry in 30 years. Your ancestors feared immediate death. You fear a future that may never come. The tool is the same, but the context has changed so radically that the tool now works against us more often than for us. We are artists with an inherited preference for painting nightmares. We come preloaded with a bias toward the dark canvas. But, and this is the liberation, once you understand that it's just a bias, just a default setting, you realize you can change it. You don't have to stop imagining, you just have to choose what you imagine. Let me tell you about Sarah. She was a student of mine, brilliant woman, wanted to start her own business. For 2 years, she didn't. For 2 years, she came to me with the same complaint. I'm afraid. Afraid of what? I'd ask. And she would paint me pictures. Vivid, detailed, emotionally resonant pictures of failure, of bankruptcy, of humiliation, of letting down her family. She would describe these scenarios with such precision, such narrative skill, that I was genuinely moved. One day I stopped her mid-sentence and said, "Sarah, you're an incredible storyteller. You've just spent 20 minutes creating a completely convincing narrative about a future that doesn't exist. That's a rare gift." She looked confused. "Now," I said, "use that same gift to tell me the story of your success. Same detail, same emotion, same conviction." She tried, she stumbled, she couldn't do it. Not because she wasn't creative, she'd just proven she was, but because she'd spent 2 years training her imagination to work in only one direction. She'd become a master painter of nightmares and a novice painter of dreams. I'm in Kyoto now, in the Ryoan-ji Temple Garden. 15 rocks arranged in raked gravel. It's considered one of the masterpieces of Zen aesthetics. Here's what's interesting. These rocks don't represent anything specific. The garden is a canvas for your imagination. Some people see islands in an ocean. Others see mountain peaks above clouds. Others see a tiger carrying cubs across a river. The garden is the same. The interpretation is yours. Your life is like this garden. The circumstances are the rocks, neutral, silent, open to interpretation. Your imagination is what creates the meaning. You can look at your life and imagine decay, loss, and inevitable disappointment. You can create that narrative with such skill that it becomes your lived reality. Or you can look at the same life, the same rocks, and imagine growth, connection, and unfolding possibility. Same garden, different story. Now I know what some of you are thinking. But Adrian, isn't this just toxic positivity? Just pretending everything is fine when it's not? No. Listen carefully. I'm not saying ignore reality. I'm not saying pretend problems don't exist. I'm saying recognize that most of your suffering comes not from reality, but from your imagined future reality. The presentation hasn't gone badly yet. You're imagining it going badly. Your relationship hasn't ended yet. You're imagining it ending. Your health hasn't failed yet. You're imagining it failing. You are suffering from fiction. from stories you're telling yourself with such conviction that your body believes them. Your heart races, your stomach tightens, your sleep disappears, all because of something you made up. And if you can make up a nightmare, you can make up a dream. Not a naive dream, not a denial of challenges, but a vision of possibility. A scenario where you rise to meet the challenge, where you discover resources you didn't know you had, where the obstacle becomes the path. This isn't optimism, this is creative choice. Let me give you a practice. It's simple, but it's not easy. The next time you notice fear, and you will, probably today, pause. Don't fight it. Don't shame yourself for it. Just notice it. Then ask yourself, what am I imagining right now? Get specific. What's the story? What's the scene you're creating? Then ask, is this the only possible story? Not the most likely story, not the most realistic story, just, is it the only possible story? It never is. Then, and this is the crucial part, use the same imaginative energy to create an alternative, not a Pollyanna fantasy. A genuine alternative scenario where you meet the challenge with courage, where you discover capability, where the outcome is uncertain, but you're okay either way. Paint that picture with the same detail you gave the nightmare. Feel it, inhabit it. You're not predicting the future, you're choosing which imagined future to rehearse. I'm back at the ocean now. Different ocean. This is the Pacific off the coast of Big Sur. The sun is setting, painting the sky in colors that didn't exist a moment ago and won't exist a moment from now. This is what I've learned in 58 years of living and 30 years of studying philosophy. You are an artist whether you know it or not. You are creating constantly. The question is not whether you'll imagine, you will. You're human. The question is, what will you imagine? Will you use your creative power to rehearse catastrophe or to envision possibility? Will you paint wastelands or gardens? Will you use your imagination to imprison yourself or to liberate yourself? Fear is not the enemy. Fear is just imagination working for the darkness instead of the light. And you are the one who decides which master your imagination serves. I think about all the years I spent afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid of loss. And I realize now I was never afraid of reality. I was afraid of my own creativity. I was terrorized by my own stories. The moment I understood that, truly understood it, everything changed. Not because the world became safer, but because I became aware of my own power. You have that same power, right now. You've always had it. You've been using it to create elaborate disasters, to script your own downfall, to paint yourself into corners that don't exist yet. What if you used it differently? What if you took that same magnificent imaginative force and directed it toward beauty, toward possibility, toward the garden instead of the wasteland? You wouldn't be denying reality, you'd be choosing which reality to create. Because here's the secret that fear doesn't want you to know. The future is not yet written. It is genuinely open. And your imagination, the stories you tell yourself, the scenarios you rehearse, the pictures you paint, these don't just predict the future, they shape it, not magically, not mystically, but practically. The person who imagines failure approaches challenges tentatively, defensively, already half defeated. The person who imagines possibility approaches the same challenges with curiosity, creativity, and resilience. Same challenge, different approach, different outcome. Your imagination creates your reality, not because the universe bends to your thoughts, but because your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your life. So here's my invitation to you. Recognize yourself as the artist you are. Acknowledge the dark canvases you've been painting. Don't shame yourself for them. You inherited the tendency, and you've been practicing for years. But now, today, pick up the same brush, face the same blank canvas, and paint something different. Paint yourself rising to meet a challenge. Paint yourself discovering strength you didn't know you had. Paint yourself in the garden, not the wasteland. Not because it's guaranteed, not because it's easy, but because it's possible, and because you get to choose which possibility you rehearse. The sun has set now, the colors are fading. In a moment, there will be darkness. But tomorrow, the sun will rise again, and the sky will be blank, ready for new colors. Your imagination is like that sky. Every morning, it's new. Every moment, you can choose what to paint on it. Fear is just imagination working for the darkness. Creativity is imagination working for the light. Same force, same power, different direction. You are the artist. You've always been the artist. The question is, what will you create?